You're now listening to the UnFollowVic podcast.
What up, though?
What it up? What it do?
What's going on? What's going on?
Another episode.
What's
here
up?
On UnFollowVic podcast. Jack, how's it going?
Palm trees and sunshine, my friend. Palm trees and sunshine.
How's the beard going?
Bro, today I just let it wild out. Just let it do it.
Does that thing talk to you every once in a while? Or no?
It provides a home for the birds that are going down to Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You got nested in there.
They're like Airbnb for fucking pigeons.
Nice. Victor, what it do?
What's up? Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Nice.
Good.
A day in the life of a pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, Jack, you forgot. You haven't done your thing, Jack. The palm trees and sunshine.
I did though.
Did you?
I feel like this is becoming like Sunday mass. So it's like a weekend ritual. I feel like I'm praying.
Yeah, and everybody comes to me for that opening, like a priest with the Eucharist in his hand.
I'm offended.
You do look
Open
like
your
a
mouth,
shaman,
little
though.
boy.
You look like you would be a shaman. Oh,
I can see, yeah.
I could see you being a shaman.
A shaman?
A shaman.
Not a Monsignor?
With that beard. No, I'm a shaman. I don't know if I've ever known a bald priest. They always have a head of hair. It's always dyed well.
Anyways, today as we have a special person in here helping us out with today's show, Mr. Vinny Carbone. You know him as the Ghostbuster. Bada bing, bada bing. What up, Vinny?
What's going on?
How's your day going?
Hey, I'm above ground.
There you go. Wise words from a wise.
The bar is set very low.
Got a full cast today.
Yeah,
Full cast today.
Jack is what is it? Sunshine and palm trees. I'm rats and snowfall here in Harlem.
There you go. How's that pipe? Is it still
Hey,
beating
listen, he's gonna make a guest appearance in a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't lived in New York, these buildings. My building, I think, was built in like 1926, and they all have steam heat, and they go on like 15-minute cycles of just like this relentless banging. So it's called water hammer. Look it up.
Yeah, it sounds like they're working on the railroad in the back. Ding, ding, ding.
So I always have to preface phone calls with the fan. If you hear banging or whatever, that's what it is. I promise.
It's not the girl under the bed.
Yeah. If it sounds like a woman screaming, it's just the steam heat. Don't worry about it.
How dare you?
Oh,
That is offensive. That is offensive, sir.
yeah. Yo,
How dare you?
which one of you guys brought up this people being struck by lightning in this awesome fucking
We were talking about Lotto,
Yeah.
lotto?
Oh,
Playing the lotto, right?
right? And the first thing somebody says about Lotto is you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning, or you got a better chance of getting eaten by sharks, or whatever. But
you guys ever see what a person looks like after they're struck by lightning?
No.
yeah, they got they fucking grow a bonsai tattoo tree.
Google it. Google it.
No, it's crazy, man. It leaves like some gnarly fucking body marks.
That's incredible.
What do you, and I heard something about, it's kind of like the lotto. Like if you've been struck once, you're more likely to get struck again. Like if you win the lotto, I feel like you might win again or something. Like some people just lucky or unlucky. Like that might be bullshit. I might have made that up.
That's probably bull.
Yeah, but the argument is, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning, though, right? But at the end of the day, people are still getting struck by lightning, some more than others.
Who are we able to look up who is it? Is there been recorded who's been struck the most?
Of course it has.
You got to
It has
see
to
the
have.
design. I mean, it's kind of like a little weird looking, but at the same time, if you're looking at it at an art perspective, it looks pretty dope.
badass.
Yeah. It's beautiful, actually. Yeah, it's like one of those Japanese trees that Mr. Miyagi used to fucking cut.
Now I kind of want to get struck by lightning. I don't know.
So anybody want to give a guess to who's been struck by the most lightning strikes? Anybody want to give a number?
I'm going to go with 3.
3. I feel like that's
5.
You win the lottery 3 times. It's like, bro.
I'm going to go with 7.
7. And lucky number 7 goes to Victor.
Well, yeah, this was a pre-discussed. But
yeah. Roy Sullivan. Good old Roy Sullivan struck 7 times.
7 times.
7 times. Would you like to hear how this occurred for this sorry gentleman? Sorry, I don't know if it's a gentleman or not. I don't mean to,
assume his gender.
Assume. Sullivan's first documented lightning strike, 1942, hiding from a thunderstorm in a fire lookout tower. So he hid out from the storm.
He didn't do a good
closer to the storm. Good job,
Was
sir.
this 7 times consecutive or 7 times in his lifetime?
7? I don't know. We'll go through it. I didn't read ahead.
You should have done that before. I mean, now we're going to spend 10 minutes on you fucking reading through things.
All right, so no, we'll just go to his 7th time because fuck it.
So struck 7 times by lightning, hit by a bus, but died of COVID. Is that where we're gonna end this?
Yes, the last one didn't kill him. It was actually COVID.
He did die by COVID. Yeah.
No.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he got struck in 1923 and then died in COVID in 2020.
Old age had nothing to do with that.
That's a connection. It's a conspiracy.
That's why he was able to live 100-something years, because he got struck by lightning 7 times.
That's crazy. That's
He
gonna
was
do
the real
damage to
Uncle
you.
Festa.
Dude, 7 times. Is there somebody who won the lottery 7 times?
No, I think the most I've heard is 2.
I mean, I'm sure people win little scratch off shits, but nothing Mega Millions.
Well, I think if we define winning the lottery, I think people definitely won more than 7 times.
All right,
win $1.
So this is but I don't think that.
So what's the world record for the most dollars won?
I looked it up, and this is not pre-recorded.
It's $1 billion.
Guess how many times one person's ever won the lotto?
I'm gonna go with 3 again.
I would go
13.
like 300,000.
No,
No
that's
way.
way over.
The same
How many?
person to
13,000.
hit the lottery? No, I can't see it being more than 3.
If we're playing Price is Right rules, Vinny
win
wins.
the jackpot. Are we saying to win the jackpot?
Yeah, win the jackpot. Like you won $150 million.
Because that's not winning the lottery.
We're not winning the lottery right now. We're just trying to guess.
All right, let's not
who
get
won the lottery.
technical over here.
What's the answer?
Okay, so the answer is 14 times.
Oh,
So Vinny wins by Price is Right rules.
Okay.
And
what do I get?
so just so that you don't think that they were like $1, $2 lotto wins, I'll tell you how much he won. The first one was 10,000. Second one, 13,000.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Hold on.
Mega Million Powerball winners.
He won on the Wheel of Fortune, 3,600,000. Win 4, Elvis holiday trip to Memphis, valued at 5,000, a scratch off ticket. Fifth win
Died
was
of COVID.
Yeah, 842,000. The next one, 73,000. The next one after that, 98,000.
No, I thought we were talking Mega Powerball. Of course,
Don't you know
Victor
something
would
with that
win
one
then.
Powerball? Not Powerball, the quick draw?
No.
If
Vic,
you're
don't you know
talking
someone?
scratch offs, I won over $10,000 in scratch.
That's my point. That's winning the lottery.
Those are pretty big wins, though. I mean, they're not, those aren't, you get to scratch off again.
I know
Those are some
someone
fucking
who
wins.
won over $10,000 on Pick 6 and got engaged that weekend. I'm not mentioning
big.
names, though.
Big mistake. Listen, we all win the lottery because we're born in the USA. You know what I'm talking about?
There you go.
Yeah. That's bullshit. All right.
You're hurting my feelings.
So what's going on, Vin? How's the ghost hunting business going?
It's going. No, it's pretty good, man. COVID has kind of put the kibosh on how they used to be, but I'm still out there doing my thing. I'm still giving lectures and investigations at Morsham
Get
Mansion
your private
in
tour
Washington
by Vinny
Heights.
Carbone.
Yeah. So we're still doing that. I got one later tonight, actually. So
That's good.
yeah. So the groups are smaller, but you know what? It's all good. We're still able to do it. And I got the YouTube thing going still. So
It's good. Stay busy, man.
yeah.
That's great.
We're
Victor,
fine. We're potting.
we're potting. Victor, anything new in your life you want to talk about or no?
No, nothing significant.
No.
Another
That's
day in the
good.
life.
I'm glad we had a 5-hour meeting to now hit a wall.
We looking at the Zoom meeting, the screen.
Yeah.
We all look like a multiple choice answers, like of facial hair. You know, there's like varying degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that show where they're all in the box? They play tic-tac-toe.
Oh, the Hollywood
Celebrity.
Squares.
Yeah.
The
that's
Brady
me.
Bunch.
Oh,
That's
we got to
what I
do
feel like
Hollywood
Hollywood's-
Squares here one day.
What is like
That'd be funny.
the underground part of Hollywood? The people who fail at Hollywood. Well, the
called New
non-famous
York.
people. Yeah, the New York Squares. There we go. That's a good show. The New York
B
Squares on
class.
UnFollowVic.
Listen.
He fucking said
Act-
New York.
Actors go to New York. Models that can read go to LA. All right, remember that.
I believe that.
Models go to what? LA for what?
Models that could read go to LA, and actors go to New York.
Gotcha.
I see.
That's an industry diss.
Broadway, I'm assuming.
Yes, the Great White Way.
You guys been to Broadway? I mean, I'm assuming you guys. I mean, I seen a lot of it on
have.
Broadway. Amazing.
I saw Grease.
You saw Grease on Broadway?
I think it was Broadway.
was it?
Yeah. It was Grease. But
I saw Grease. I saw Grease in London.
Hey, Hickey from Kanicki's old man.
yeah.
I
What is it?
played.
What is it?
Give him a
guys.
minute, Jack. Give him a minute. Yeah.
I'm just saying, we got somebody on
Oh yeah, we got another guest in today. Give him a proper
another chair.
another chair, another guest. All right, so we'll go mic him up, and we'll be right back for our listeners. And it's the UnFollowVic podcast.
For more content and behind the scenes, visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at UnFollowVic. Enjoy the show.
Hey, this is Dave Shelton. I'm going to be the special guest on today's episode of the UnFollowVic podcast.
And we're back, and we have our guest in, Dave. So Jack, take it away.
On today's UnFollowVic podcast, we have a guest who is an award-winning writer, cartoonist, and voice actor. He's the senior writer and head of cartoons at National Lampoon, and also wrote for America's favorite comedy show, Everyone Loves Raymond. A warm welcome to Mr. Dave Shelton, everyone.
Dave, how's it going?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, don't worry. We're gonna edit all that.
that's.
Okay, you'll add some nice crowd scenes and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great to be here. You guys seem really cool. I'm so used to like some stiff left-wing kind of radical hosts and stuff who are so Fox oriented.
No.
I'm like, I know it's nice to see cool people.
Yeah, we're cool in that sense, and you can
Likewise.
go ahead, curse, do whatever you got to do. This is your show as
fuck
much
yeah.
as our show.
Cool.
Very unfiltered.
Well, that's the
Cool.
name,
We're
right?
cool.
Until we get canceled, but it's all right.
Yeah.
We'll find our way through.
We're
it.
not getting paid, so
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we were talking there in the mic check that you were saying because one of your hosts had the same name as one of the characters in my Bitchy the Clown character has for his podcast called Bitchin' with Bitchy.
yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Jack in the box.
Jack.
Well, his name is Jack Off, but he is a Jack in the Box and stuff. And I don't know what you do on your spare time, but it's like, and then he has another one called Crap Face. They're just like his little sidekicks and stuff. but it's very unfiltered. Talking about unfiltered, this guy, this Bitchy the Clown, he's conservative. He's from Jersey. He's from Kearney, New Jersey. Yeah, but it's spelled differently and stuff. But yeah, he just goes after everything. Aren't you so cool?
You're originally from Jersey, right, Dave?
Yeah.
What town were you from?
Are you guys from exit 172, which is Montvale?
No idea. Yeah, we're all from New York, Queens, Harlem area.
Oh, okay. So you guys are suffering from what I call them, the shitio complex right now that's going on with your mayor out there.
Oh, the homosexuals.
I love how he's going. Well, I went to the new school in New York City down by 14th Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I lived on the upper. Oh, you went there too?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm a lot older than you, so. You know, it was with James Lipton was still head of the drama department there.
Oh, wow.
I think Rob Zombie went there too.
Oh, you went there too?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, everybody went there. It's great.
I auditioned for them. They didn't take me.
They didn't. You can walk in with a pulse.
Yeah, well, great, Victor.
Wow. How did that make you feel?
I took the route where I'm not going to go to college, so I never have to have that problem.
Well, actually,
can't fail if you don't try.
To show how easy it is in getting in the new school, Pelosi already got in.
Yeah. So you weren't near like Newark or anything, right?
No, Montvale is the last exit before New York State. And I mean, it was a really cool area to grow up in and stuff. We had and some famous people came out of there. I mean, John Travolta lived only a couple of miles away, and Eddie Murphy was not too far. Oh, really? James Marshall from Twin Peaks. He's one of my best friends. He went to Pascack Hills and stuff at our school. We just, the sad thing is our school just got national news because it's one of the ones that's changing the name of its mascot.
Of course.
We were, it was the Cowboys versus the Indians, which was our competitive in the district. Well, they said that's too racist and exclusionary because Cowboys, they didn't have women Cowboys. And I said, what the hell was Annie Oakley? So, so it got on Fox and all the big news shows. And I was just like, how pathetic. It's like the Jersey cool is gone, especially with what Bruce Springsteen's done to it and stuff.
God damn it.
I did get to hang out with.
Well, I'm going to be a fan. I never was really a fan of Jersey. More or less. The high-wise of
man.
The what?
We do.
Jersey gets a lot of hate.
It does, Dave,
man.
I mean, you got 30 fucking highways that intersect at each other at one point. That drives me up the wall.
I still didn't know where to go.
Yeah, and I left my car once in Newark for 45 minutes, and I come back down. The whole inside was cleaned out. They took my tools, baseball gloves, all my loose change, packs of cigarettes. I mean, I wasn't even there for an hour.
That was the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest of it was deciding where to fence all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't even buy alcohol on Sundays, right?
Uh-huh.
You can't buy alcohol on Sundays?
I did get to meet Snooky in Vegas.
Oh, well, there you go. You've arrived.
She's in New York. Though.
Didn't all the guys get to meet Snooky though?
I'm offended.
She's become a Jersey tradition. In order to get residency in Jersey, you have to meet Snooky.
There you go. Knighted by the Snooks.
No, thank you.
Didn't South Park have a character? What do they call that thing? The Snooky or something?
Oh,
they did Snooky
on it and stuff.
Snooky wants smush.
But now you live in what? Sistersville, West Virginia. I'm pretty sure you're loving it out there.
Oh my gosh, it's just so different because I spent the last 30 years in LA working there, and what a shithole that's become. And I said, after everything was going on, it was time to leave. My girlfriend dumped me for the third time, and
the third time.
Who does that? I met, she's from Chicago. She's from Chicago originally, and then she grew up in. Well, she had her daughter grow up in Jersey, and then she moved to LA, and I met her there, and then I decided to move her back to New Jersey, and I said, it's enough. I had a couple of shows set up on Amazon, or at least are on now. And I said, you know what? I don't need to be in LA in this place to really produce. Everybody's moving out of LA anyway. So I put word out that I was looking for a writing job because I thought, I'll just take a sabbatical and write for a newspaper, because I started my career as a journalist for the Ridgewood News, and then I was with Tiger Beat and Rockville magazine. Okay. You guys might be too young to remember Rockville.
Well, that's why we have Vinny here. Vinny's like our Google on demand.
Okay. So Rockville was kind of like the Rolling Stone of rock concerts. And so I was a writer for them. And then I said, I'm just going to go and try to find a writing gig somewhere. And then Sistersville advertised for a newspaper looking for a journalist. And that's what got me here. And I've been here a year and a half, and I love it.
Oh, nice. Are you like in the farmlands, the suburbs?
I'm not sure what you call it. It's like...
Put it this way. If the next house is 5 miles away, you're in the farmland.
The house is next door and stuff.
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah, right.
Let's just say it's a very historic town. I would say it's rural. But
is it haunted?
Oh my God. This is such a fucking haunted town. When I first got here, I was living in a haunted hotel that's been on ghost shows. Called The Well. It was called it was called the Wells Inn. And it was founded by two of the sisters that helped found Sistersville. That's why it's called Sistersville. Mm-hmm. And but the guy that owns it was a slum. He bought it. He's from New York, upstate New York. He was a slumlord, and then he bought this and he turned the hotel into a slum hotel, and with rats and stuff. But there were some haunted things in there. And it was really, you walk around at night and you could really kind of feel it. But the whole town is a history of stuff. Remember a few years ago, there were this teen couple. They were like called the New Bonnie and Clyde. And they went on like a 4-state spree. Pennsylvania, Jersey.
Were they killing people?
No, they were holding them up, but I don't think they killed anybody. But they were caught we're right along the Ohio River. They were caught in the river here in Sistersville.
Really?
And that made national news too. But, there's like the drug problem and stuff like that is anywhere.
So Dave, I got a question. So I went to school for theater, and the big misconception that I had coming out of school and going into like internships and stuff like that was if you're not in New York, LA, Chicago, Toronto, or London, then, your best shot is just like, the regional market, regional theater, stuff like that. So, but having been in New York for almost a decade now, like I'm shot, I'm spent. I want to get out. Like, I want to go back upstate where I went to college. And do you think, the same way that you went from LA to now where you are now, do you think that that's now becoming the trend of people just, and also with like social media and just like with things like Zoom and everything like that, it's becoming more and more accessible to work outside of those markets?
Absolutely. You do not have to be in those cities in order to have something happen. Look at all these friggin' TikTok stars and stuff. From the basement of like their mom's place, and they're 6 years old and they're doing TikTok, which is wrong to begin with. But
super skilled female streamers playing.
We're gonna
Call of
start
Duty.
Seeing little Asian kids from sweatshops pretty soon.
That's the reason so many actors and stuff are leaving LA and the big cities, because you don't need to do it. Like, I'm producing a film festival here in Sistersville, April 9th. And I've been getting submissions from all over the country of people who are making films in Pittsburgh and Virginia. And I even got a submission from Australia. So, the only ones that are remaining in LA and all the big cities are the producers and the people that have the impression that you need to be there. If you want to audition and stuff, but I've been.
But even so, you could send in video now.
Everyone's doing in online video auditions anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, since I've been here, I've been super productive. I have a new children's book. I have a new children's book that just won an award called
What's the name of that?
Bag Boy and Sweet Slob, and You can get that on Amazon. We just entered a bunch of other competitions. I'm working on getting that adapted into a TV show for kids. I'm doing this festival. I started the Bitchy the Clown radio podcast. I produced a short film here that won an award on Monsters of Horror. And then I have a radio show called Cemetery Go-Go that got on FM radio. And I produced that all out here.
That's great, man.
And then I wrote a script for Cheap Trick.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, Robin Zander is one of my best friends, the lead singer. And so I also, when I was at National Lampoon, I worked with Jamie Kennedy. You guys know him?
No idea.
Jamie Kennedy experience.
Yeah. And and Scream. He was, Randy and Scream. And
he was the precursor to punks. Like he actually created that concept of the.
Yes. Yeah, he was a few years before Ashton Kutcher even put that together and stuff.
Yeah.
So
he did a show at my college, and I never before seen a comedian get so furious with an audience because they just kept like shouting and shouting. And this was when he was actually filming his documentary Heckler.
Yeah,
and they showed a clip. Yeah. And there's a part that they showed from that performance. He was like, I'll stop. Like he was going to leave. And it was I found it to be a little unprofessional, but at the same time, I get it. Like to just constantly be fucking heckled and interrupted. It's like, it's annoying, but yeah.
This is Jamie. This is like who he is. Like a lot of he's kind of like the, what's his face? The guy who did the voice of Roger Rabbit. Well, he's a very strange comedian also. And because I've worked on some books, I've done a lot of different books. I worked on a book called Comic Lives, and I had done stand up with Comic Relief when I was at Lampoon. And you have like your typical comedian. I mean, comedy today is so different than it used to be. Everything now has to be vulgar, racist. I did a show with a Muslim group of comedians. And oh my gosh, it was one of the weirdest experiences. This was at a club in LA. And there was a black comic, me, a couple of feminists, and then like about 5 different Muslim comics. And then, of course, they all bring in their audiences and stuff. Well, I was talking to the black comic. I said, well, I don't think my routine's going to work with them. And he said, well, why don't you just kind of play off them? And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I'm like half Jewish. So I just went the Jewish route, and I loved it. And some of the other comics were laughing, but the audience of all the Muslim supporters, oh my gosh, they were ready to skin me. Cause like my opening joke was, so I just came from my cousin's bar mitzvah. Oh, did you guys want to come? You should have seen the expressions on their faces.
That's fun.
I think animation is the Alamo of comedy, to be honest. I think animation is the only thing that's raw nowadays.
Well, I think comedy, I mean, with all this cancer culture and shit that's going on, and, Bitchy talks about that, I think it's pathetic because a comic can't do anything anymore.
They can't be a comic.
No.
Right. No one has a sense of humor anymore. They're all going to be kind of like, bent out of shape over everything. And I love how they come up with terms for every friggin' thing they want to make fun of. Movement, cancel culture.
Have you heard the latest? Casualty?
Oh yeah, the Dr. Seuss book.
No.
Today.
There's more now. Today
we have Speedy Gonzalez and Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, I heard about Pepe Le Pew because of the rape culture, which is the biggest piece of shit anyway. I mean, he couldn't rape her. She always got away.
Right. It was more about female empowerment than it was about creepy dudes.
Right. And he's a skunk. What do you think skunks do?
Yeah.
And what's the thing about Speedy Gonzalez?
Something about like the Mexican tradition, but a lot of Mexican people have been reaching out. Like, are you kidding me? This was my childhood. This is what, I mean, he was the Speedy of Mexico.
That's interesting.
That's right.
I want to know who starts this.
Well, one of the stupidest things that's been happening in this year is how they try to claim you're racist if you say you have an ethnic friend. Like, some of my best friends are black. Oh, well, then you're racist for saying that and stuff. But if you say some of my best friends are Methodist or Catholic, then that's okay. But to compare that, so they just want to use it to just to trash anything that you come up with.
Yeah, but Dave, let me ask you a question.
Except, Epstein, like I wouldn't say my best friend was Epstein, but thank you.
No.
Some people will.
Dave, so I took a comedy class a while, in college, whatever, and this was over in London, and the teacher, he opened up with a joke. Now, as I said, it was in England. We were foreign exchange kids, whatever, and he said, "Okay, here's a joke. Why did they send 2 planes on 9/11? Because they read the address New York, New York. Right? So, right? Okay, whatever." And he goes, "Now, is that offensive? Obviously, it's terrible. It was a national tragedy, whatever. But that's the nature of comedy. And when people get offended by it, now, granted, if you had someone die in 9/11, and we all are from New York, so we all have close proximity to that event. But those who lose the point, comedy is kind of not meant for them. They were never going to get it, and." You know what I mean? And obviously there's different brands of humor. Like there's a big difference between Andrew Dice Clay and, what's her name? Amy Schumer. It's two very different demographics.
Well, yeah, Amy Schumer sucks and Andrew Dice Clay is funny.
Actually, he's performing on the 19th and 20th somewhere in Jersey, Andrew Dice Clay.
Good.
Well, I had dinner with him a long time ago, and that was
He's not like that. He's not like that at all, in real life, right? That's a gimmick.
Well, what was funny is this was in Ramsey, New Jersey, and it was when I was working at MTV, and I was doing this book called Comic Lives with Betsy Borns, who wound up becoming a producer on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So, so we were interviewing Andrew, and I was there at dinner with him, and I think the waiter kind of pissed him off a little, and he was with his first wife. So yeah, there was a little bit of Andrew Dice Clay coming out at that dinner.
Yeah,
but for the most part, and then what was funny is I ran into him in LA years later, and he was shopping. He was like had these Bermuda shorts on, this tank top, like the stuff you would think that he'd probably be wearing.
Yeah,
and. And people are looking at him, and he's going like, "Hey,
Well, the story of his success, I think it's just so funny. Like how when he was doing it out in L.A., everyone's like laughing at it. Like they were laughing with him because like, oh, it's such a commentary on like typical Italian American gimmick, whatever.
Whose house is getting raided right now?
I live in Harlem. All right.
Should we worry the FBI's on its way to the door?
We got a great view.
Right there, baby.
Keep it recording. Don't stop.
Is this really the movie Unfriended 3 or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
No, when he was out in LA, everyone's like, they were laughing at it because they were laughing really at the East Coast. When he comes out to the East Coast, everyone's like, oh yeah, finally one of us made it. But they kind of missed the joke that it was a gimmick. Like they thought it was for real,
Right. That's the problem with comedy now. Everyone's just so freaking sensitive about it. And I just say, get the fuck over it. I'm so politically incorrect when it comes to stuff like that. And I really don't care how, people are going to get upset over my humor and think like I have a book called Brain Explosion, which is also on Amazon.
That's I've seen that.
We have it.
Oh, it's good.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Oh, awesome. I mean, you read it. It's all my work from Lampoon. And there's a review on Amazon that says it's one of the most racist, hateful books ever put out. Yeah, because they pulled one of the cartoons. It was the one where these 2 hunters are in the woods and there's an alien from outer space. And one of them says to the other ones, "It's okay, Jake, this guy's got papers." And it's like a spoof on.
I have a question about that. Do you think if I was a comedian?
Yeah,
if I was a comedian,
they said it was a racist picture. And I'm going like, that's what's so fucked up about it.
Victor, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do I have a shield to that being Spanish?
Yes.
Is it really a racial thing? Is it like the white guy's up there racist just because he's white? Because like, if I'm Spanish, can I get away with more as a comedian?
Well, that's what Carlos Mencia was hoping to get away with until they found out he was actually German.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Didn't work out so, and he was also stealing jokes too. So,
well, yeah,
yeah.
that was, yeah.
I don't know. I got a
think
weird
he's-
comedy lineup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm more. I love like Chris Rock is my ultimate. Like he just fucking goes. He don't give a fuck what color you are or anything. He's gonna go out
Right.
and he's gonna do it along with Dave Chappelle. But like someone like Dane Cook, not for anything, I can't laugh. I don't find anything he does funny.
Vicious Circle.
it's very
is funny.
bro humor. Yeah,
Well,
it's
there's
very
a-
bro humor though.
Like if I brought my girlfriend, like if everyone was bringing it, like if you were gonna go on a date with a girl and you really wanted to fucking spice things up, bring her to a Dane Cook concert. But if you want to go out with the guys and have a great night, you would go to like a Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle night.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of the sad things of Jersey in my high school is Bill Maher went to my school.
Oh,
And he was a dickwad even in school. We worked on the school paper together, and he was an ass in training. So, I mean, when he grew up, and then I ran into him in LA and I said, "Hey, do you remember blah, blah, blah?" Because he was part of our book. And he just like would not have the time of day to acknowledge New Jersey or go into our high school or anything. And I mean, he was just nasty.
Was it?
And I didn't think he was very funny either. He tried to be funny. There's a picture in our yearbook of him with a beard, and he was a senior in high school. He was a year ahead of me. And just with his legs folded, like he was like, you know, the biggest shit in the, you know, in the toilet and stuff. But he was just, he was just like thinking he was all that. And yeah, I mean, he made a career and stuff, but, and I just thought he was unfunny.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, Dice is funny just now. I like comedians that are just funny naturally.
Exactly. But
Yeah, like,
let's bring it back a little bit. So, did you know you wanted to do what you do today at an early age, or there was other stuff you were trying to get involved with, or just vision yourself in the future?
No, I knew exactly when I was born. I think I was made to work in film and television and the arts. There's a joke that someone said that when I was born, the first thing I saw instead of the doctor was the Flintstones, because I think they had a TV on in the hospital room in the delivery.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Yeah, no matter who you are, everyone grows up and you at least watch some form of cartoon. There's an era of cartoon you watch, and you do either fall in love with it or you don't fall in love with it.
Right. And there's so many different choices. That's why I hate when people put down someone else's choices of what they watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, like, you know what, if you don't like something, then don't watch it. There was a great line in The Simpsons. It was one of the Halloween of Horror episodes. And it was when all of these symbols and icons came to life. And Lisa came up with a plan because they were destroying Springfield. Mm-hmm. So Lisa got Paul Anka to write a jingle that said, "Just don't look." And then these icons, you know, were getting mad because no one was paying attention to them. And then they all died and just kind of fell apart. I'm going, well, that's the same thing here, but don't put down something if it's politically incorrect and saying that it shouldn't be. You know, that's another of the cancel culture and what they're trying to do to our First Amendment. And that bothers me so freaking much because it's like socialist control, which is what they're trying to do anyway. But
I think part of the problem is really it's nowadays you don't really choose what you watch. It's chosen for you. So like if you go on Netflix, it's like, hey, recommended. So you click it and then it's something offensive to you because it's not really something you were looking to watch. It was just recommended for you to watch.
And if there's a lot of shit on Netflix. I know. What's funny is my agent, who is now like my ex-agent, he'd rather spend more time with actresses from the 40s who are still alive than actually doing something for like his clients and stuff. So I said, why don't you get some of my projects to Netflix or to Amazon? And he's like, well, I really don't want to push buttons. And I go, you're a freaking agent.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? You want to
so you get a
box of
percent
Cheerios?
Yeah. I mean, in Brain Explosion, you mentioned that there's like so much input. So it kind of it seems like what the message was that people are either getting numb or it's just ruining creativity. You think that could be also part of the problem?
Well, yeah, I think, with all these remakes that they're doing and the studios, well, to me, it's so big of a focus just on diversity as opposed to talent. It's like, it's just like some of the programs they used to have in the old days where you had a certain amount of minorities in order to get something made, like affirmative action. And I think it's ruining the talent pool because for me, all the projects that I've worked on or directed and produced, for one, I use disabled people, like people with Down syndrome and autism and stuff, like as extras, people working on the crew, because they're not given a chance. But I don't do it because of that. If there's one that's more useful and talented, I'll employ them over just someone because we need to have a certain a percentage of them in there. Yeah. And it's the same with actors. I don't look at a black actor or a white actor or an Asian actor or a Latino actor or a blue actor as someone other than if they're qualified. And that's the sad part of the industry. And I hate that. And because I look like everybody, you're either an asshole or you're not, you're human. And I think people need to get over the separations. Like, have you seen this in the stores the last few days? Under food, they're saying made by Black producers or made by Asian producers or farmers or. I
haven't seen that yet.
Wow, I haven't.
Not yet.
And I'm going, if that's not separating them even more.
That's segregation.
Yeah. It's totally doing that. And then it's backfiring. As you see, a lot of stuff like this is backfiring. So I don't look at it as like that. I look at it as like, if you're a comedian, I love when a good, funny comedian talks about where they grew up, whether it was, in Mexico or Europe or Russia or something. To me, that's funny because you're sort of effacing yourself. And if you're funny, your things are funny. It's all part of the human experience. It's just a matter of where you grew up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like if I don't think Bill Maher's funny. I think David Brenner's funny. Rodney Dangerfield was one of my icons and stuff.
Yeah, nobody gives respect.
I feel like for comedy to be funny, you have to understand comedy more as, you either accept everything or you eventually throw out everything.
Right. If you throw out everything, it's wrong.
Then there's nothing. So you really only have those two options. You either accept it all for what it is,
or you go to the golden rule.
Or eventually you end up burning books.
So you don't like
attacking other people because we've seen it over time and time again in history. It's happened before.
I think those are the people who can take criticism, because I feel like some part of comedy is someone's on stage saying things that you're thinking but would never publicly say. So you're always put in a position where you're uncomfortable, but you're only uncomfortable. Yeah. Right.
Well, I think it's like funny when I watch a comedy show like with friends who are comics, and you watch the audience and someone will go to their husband, wife, or whoever they're with and go, I've been saying exactly the same friggin' thing. But, they're not saying it out loud because they're letting the comedian say it for them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then they say, see, I was right about that.
And, And I think comedy, especially stand-up, I think it's the rawest form of sort of media consumption. Right. I mean, there's Broadway.
It should be, though. I don't think it's like that anymore. I think a lot of material is tailored around, well, I don't know if that's going to get a bad report on fucking Yelp, and now all of a sudden I'm this racist. Right. A lot of stuff now is tailored around what you can get away with.
Well, look at all this, even the shows on Netflix, all of the comedy shows on there, 90% of them are so PC. And then when they're not PC, it's all leaning left.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just one friggin' direction. And that's stifling, a lot of comics feel that they are pressured to just change their routines and their sets just to tailor to these woke people.
I think the biggest problem is really the platforms, because if you had the place to really, exercise your First Amendment right and say whatever the hell you want, and you didn't have to worry about the technology guy or Big Brother taking you down, I think there would be a lot more great content material out there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why, I can't wait for comedy clubs to open up again.
Oh, yeah.
I find it funny.
It's like a squeak easy.
Yeah, like a friend of mine, Ben Morrison. He was actually one of the guys in Punk'd. He was one of the actors in it, and he does this virtual stand-up comedy set with he'll always bring in, and he actually brought in Jamie a few times ago, but he does it on Zoom, and to me, it's kind of not the same thing. He's having each person do his virtual set, but then he puts the audience on unmute. So however many people are in there, if they're going to the bathroom or getting a drink while they're doing their set, you hear it. And then if they're talking to someone, shut the fuck up, I'm watching this.
Shut up, bitch, and go make that goddamn sandwich. What the fuck you still doing here?
Yeah,
Dom, we're going live.
Okay?
Dom, we're going live.
It's just, the attention is not there towards the comic, so they're not paying attention. So that's, like you said, a platform that needs to come back, and virtual stuff.
There definitely is a distraction there.
For sure.
Same with Comic-Cons. I would always be a guest at all these Comic-Cons, and
I go for the women.
like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, cosplay girls. It's a lot different than when they were just like the cottage cheese group, as I call them, and stuff. But there's some really hot ones now. But now they're doing virtual Comic-Cons, and I go, what's the point? You're paying all this money to talk to Dean Cain.
No way.
And then pay another $50 for him to either email you something or to send you a photo.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for someone to record the Zoom and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll wait for the flu to get over, and then we'll eventually go back in person.
Right. Well, it's same with Cameo. Have all these celebrities do cameos and stuff, and they're charging all this money for them to say, "Oh,
crazy!
Hi, Bill. How are you?"
Yeah. $350
just to sit on Santa's lap.
You're listening to the UnFollowVic podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna do some Cameo just to bring some spotlight, but I'm not paying $300. No way. I was gonna get the whack pack from the Howard Stern. I wanted Beetlejuice or High Pitch Eric to, that's funny.
Yeah, you should do Cameo.
Me?
You should offer you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
People had suggested it, but when they found out that I was a conservative, they were like, "Nah, no one's gonna kind of take you up on your cameos and stuff." I said, "Well, what if I fucked Alyssa Milano on Cameo and stuff?" They said, "Oh,
get in line."
Would watch.
I think there's this conservative brotherhood that's starting to brew.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of brotherhood, is there a circle in your circles for people like yourself who are also conservative? Or is it just you kind of floating in the sea?
It's called Mar-a-Lago, but I haven't.
Yeah. We have an inside joke. We have family members who hated Trump. So my thing was, I'm going to get married at Mar-a-Lago. Make them go there. Yeah. And I'd be so happy just enjoy it.
I can't go. I got the second strand of COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people to the extent where they won't go in places to eat because they play Fox 5.
If you do that, send them a photoshopped photo of you shaking hands with Trump in front of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, man, I just want to write him a letter. Just
you should have Dr. Seuss do the marriage. He'll marry you.
Absolutely. Or have someone dressed like him or something. That would be so cool.
Or have a Speedy Gonzalez
Dr. Seuss. He was from 1904.
You can be the waiter.
When he wrote a lot of those books. So, it's just amazing what they're trying to do with that. But, I don't care. People go, I joke with some people go, well, being a conservative, isn't that going to ruin your career? And I joke, I say, what career? And so if I had one, then it would matter. But no, I just think, I have friends who are Democrats. And I just think like since 2016, it's so come out when this huge hatred, like this unfounded hatred. And yet it's okay to watch Snoop Dogg screw women on his videos. And
Tip Drill is a sick
Or
video.
what was 2020's best song of the year? Wet Ass Pussy by Cardi B.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like WAP or whatever. It's like,
Wow.
it's okay for
Wet ass
that.
pussy.
Wow.
Or WAP, whatever.
They would call me WAP in high school. That's nothing new.
That's not
I was called lots of different things in high school. And you know what? I didn't care. You know, when I was little, we had.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, don't take offense to this, but don't look like you're throwing 40-yard football passes and hitting 350-yard home runs. So in high school, were you like the theater creature or getting into, you know?
No, believe it or not, I'm very deceptive. I was very athletic. I actually
Really?
coached basketball with the Lakers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, I was. I used to win 3-on-3 basketball tournaments in LA, and
Are you
I even
tall?
Played 5'8".
Oh, okay. You seem tall.
Yeah, but I'm very fast, and I got really good hands, and so I even played one professional game of football at the LA Coliseum as part of the TV show, and I was one of the running backs. I mean, it was for guys over 30, you know, who had never played pro football, but I made, you know, one of the starting positions. And as I said, I played basketball, and Fred Williamson is one of my best friends. Do you remember him?
Don't know who that is.
Fred the Hammer Williamson. He played for the Raiders, and he was in From Dusk Till Dawn. He became an actor. Did you see that?
No, we haven't seen that. I don't think.
Oh,
Vinny, our Google's failing us here.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say, so Dave, you know who else was a low-key athlete and one of your influences? Edgar Allan Poe.
yes. And some people are saying that I'm going to wind up like him too.
Well, maybe.
You're going to die suspicious death?
Suspiciously, no love life, in debt.
No, he had a love life, but it just wasn't.
Are you going to marry your second cousin?
No, not yet. But Jerry Lee Lewis was an influence.
Yeah, there you go. Poe started it.
But no, it's I mean, it was sad what he went through. Same with some of my other influences. Bach was one of my influences musically, and then
He was deaf, right? He gradually went deaf, correct? Or was that Beethoven?
Beethoven.
That was Beethoven.
Yeah, he went.
Oh, well,
too.
just fuck me.
That's my new school university.
Yeah, I wouldn't know there, Vic.
Bach was more of the spiritual composer. Like everything he wrote for like 25 years of his life was for the church. Like when he first started becoming a well-known composer back then. And I mean, that's why his dirges and his cantatas and everything are all, and fugues are all like used for Halloween. Which is weird because it has such a religious background, and they're used for, you know, like death scenes in Freddy movies and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool. But no, I've always been athletic. I played semi-pro football for a season, and I played on different baseball leagues and things. So it's deceiving.
Definitely a sleeper player. I did not see that happening. It's like you would. I just slept on you and lost.
I was like the Millhouse.
Yeah.
I played baseball for
Lift
like
the shirt.
18 years.
Six pack.
Dave, I see you doing the towel whips in the locker room. I don't know why.
Well, or like in Revenge of the Nerd, when they were asking Brian Tachi, do you know karate? And he goes, no. And then they put a jock strap on his head and stuff. But
That was a great movie. I love that movie.
But no, I was just athletic, and I got picked last. But I was always the kid that would put himself in
You were the
front
sleeper.
line.
Yeah,
Totally.
They slept on you, and you came out and you did whatever you had to fucking do.
Absolutely. When
like
I
Rudy.
was fearless. Well, yeah, like when when we would play dodgeball, you know how all the wimpy kids would stand in the back against the wall until all the balls were on their side?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was one of the kids that always stood at the line ready to either get hit or to catch the ball. So I said, they're freaking soft red balls. You know, I don't care if the Rock was throwing it. That's not going to hurt. It may sting a little, but shit, if you can't dodge a
so does rough sex
ball,
sometimes. So.
Well, you can't dodge that either.
Yeah.
But speaking of Red Bulls,
so I have a question. How do you, Dave Shelton, go from Bach and Beethoven to then listening to Rob Zombie? Like, where did that transition happen in your life? Because that, I mean, we're talking. We're a couple genres over from classical music here with Rob Zombie.
Right. Well, it started because when I was young, I started in music in elementary school when schools actually had instruments and you were able to learn music transcription. And
what?
When you had to go to school?
They actually
when you had to go to school?
You physically went to school?
Went to school.
Back in my day, we went to school.
School? What school? School's for the devil, Bobby.
We actually had the walk somewhere. And so I started with clarinet and saxophone in the band, then went to drums. And then, we knew, I grew up in the 60s and early 70s. So we knew about, rock and everything and the Beatles. And I was always into, I kind of like wanted to learn I was a sponge for knowledge. I read everything and I watched movies, and I said I wanted to be in entertainment ever since I was little. So I just absorbed everything. I think my guidance counselor said that I first learned to read when I was like 3.5 or 4.
Okay.
But I would always look at things and absorb it. So that included music. So when I switched to guitar, and I've been playing guitar and I've done session work, and I've recorded with different people and have toured. But the first real experience of the metal and heavy side was AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to see them when they first came to America at a small club in Florida.
That's dope.
I went to the University of Florida. So it was like 1977, I believe it was. And they were playing a small club. And when I saw Angus just slashing back and forth across the stage and Bond singing, I said, this band is going to be fucking huge. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, they blew up.
Yeah, they're fucking huge.
Yeah, I just don't like limiting myself. I mean, there are certain music styles I can't stand, like rap and hip hop, because, it's a style that steals stuff. And, they say rap invented this kind of rhythmic music. I go, the Monkees did this back in the 60s. I mean, they've been doing musical rhyming for decades and decades and stuff. So it's just kind of changed over different influences. But that's why, and I love metal and I play a lot of metal. I have a catalog now of over 60 demo songs that I want to get placed with bands and singers. Mm-hmm. So, and they're all different styles, folk and rock and metal. But, how people say you need to listen to something calming to calm down if you're pent up or just totally like in a zone. Yeah. I listen to, Poison or AC/DC or Zombie or, any of those bands. And that relaxes me more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of the music that you play on your radio is very go, but like Halloween, you got this very like old Scooby-Doo / disco thing going. And I love it. I could leave that on in the background and go about my day. It sounds great.
Oh, you mean my Cemetery Go-Go show?
Cemetery Go-Go show, the music you play on there. We checked out the...
cool. When did you listen to that?
I downloaded the episodes like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. We listened to...
From my website?
Yes, from the website.
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool and stuff. I'm glad. I mean, and I came up with that because the guy who I did an article when I was writing for the newspaper here on the guy who's the program director for that station, which is here in Tyler County, West Virginia. And he said, why don't you do a show? Because I used to be on NBC radio. with one of the guys from Howard Stern, but we won't talk about him because there's a restraining order out. But
wait, okay. It's all right. By the way, if you hear pipes banging in Vinny's apartment.
But anyway, so this guy, Greg, really cool guy, he asked me to do a show for his station. And I said, I always loved horror hosts. That's why I did Professor Creepy Screen Party for Amazon. Is because I just love all that weird stuff. And so that's where, there's a cemetery here called the Oakwood Cemetery, and it's a Revolutionary War cemetery. And I hang out there sometimes and do sort of broadcasts. And I've experienced audio and visual things that I've seen there. You guys have to come to Sistersville to visit. And
I will.
I'm down.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, totally. We'll do a ghost hunt or something. And then,
Definitely.
so I said, I'm just going to put this together. And I always loved psychedelic music and stuff from the 60s. So I said, I'll call it Cemetery Go-Go and come up with this weird character named Groovy Grave Creeper because I love Dr. Demento. And I said, I'm going to put songs like from Dr. Demento's playlist and heavy metal and old. I'll take theme songs from TV shows like Laverne and Shirley, and I'll play them and mix them all together so people won't know what's coming next. And what's cool is then I'll take sound bites. So after I played the Laverne and Shirley theme, I took Squiggy and I went, hello, Laverne. And I just added that to it. And then you do introductions to and I play old movie trailers and like old commercials and stuff for like Frankenberry. And it was just so much fun. And unfortunately, that station now has changed formats. It's just going to be school kids. But Greg brought me to a bigger network, and now it's going to be playing on like 4 different, maybe 50,000 watt stations.
Yeah.
So I'm going to announce when that starts hitting again and stuff.
Got you. What did you do with Nickelodeon, by the way? What did you work on?
I worked on a few things. One, I was a cartoonist for Klasky Supo. They produced Rugrats and Real Monsters.
I remember Real Monsters.
2 of my favorites.
Yeah. I grew up on Nickelodeon. Rugrats, Real Monsters, SpongeBob, Rocket
Crumb is still my favorite.
Hey Arnold, those are all my favorites, man.
I was a cartoonist with them, and then I worked on Double Dare.
I remember
Double Dare.
Who was the
on
female
Slime
on
Time
Double
Live, right?
Dare? Wasn't there a female host besides Summers?
Well, no, Mark's.
No,
are you
that
talking
was
about the newer Double Dare or the old Double Dare?
No,
Because
Vic's
there was
talking about Figure It Out with Summer Sanders, the Olympic swimmer.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love
Mark
Summer Sanders.
Mark
Summers was our host.
Yeah.
He has OCD. Bad. Did you know that?
I mean, you should see his closet in the studio. It had all of the same jackets, but that was not only for OCD. It was because he was always getting slimed, and he had to keep changing jackets in commercial breaks. But when I worked on Double Dare, I was one of the guys who helped with the physical challenges, like creating them, that big nose where you had to pull the flag out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that one. That was good.
Yeah, so I was one of the guys.
Good work, Dave.
I miss the 90s, man.
Yeah,
really miss
the golden era. Really.
I did a lot of promotional art for the show also, like posters and, other things like that.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be. You got to, you put out a whole lot of stuff and shaped a whole lot of kids to be, responsible adults with great childhoods, man.
Well, this is the fruit of your labor. You're looking at us.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is us.
Hey, Dave, did you ever work on
You guys turned out perfect in my world.
I appreciate that.
Dave, did you ever
check
work
out
on
any of our
Wienerville?
histories.
Did I work on what?
Wienerville?
Who?
Wienerville on Nickelodeon?
Oh, no, that was past my prime and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was there in the mid 80s, and I was also at the same time while I was doing that, because the same conglomerate owned MTV. I got transferred and did some work at MTV as well. I got to work with the original VJs and do art and writing for them as well.
That's cool.
Are you talking about Viacom?
Yeah, when Viacom originally owned everything, and everything was based in the city. We were on the upper. That's when I was living in the city. We were based on like 59th Street and 8th or 9th Avenues, like somewhere around there. And it was cool because there's a really cool story. Remember when I was there when MTV was first starting out? So that's when like the Beastie Boys had Right to Party and stuff. And it was when they were doing that they were in the building doing a promo for it. And I was in the VJ room doing some prep with the VJs like Mark Summers and Julie Brown, who I'm still friends with.
Downtown Julie Brown.
Downtown, she's so cool.
Yeah.
By the way, and so
beautiful girl.
She still looks amazing, and she still dresses the same way with the hat and the hair and the clothes and stuff. So, so the Beastie Boys were in the next studio over, and I thought everything was soundproof, but I guess it wasn't. And I forgot the guy's name, the one with the baseball cap, the main guy.
MCA? I don't know. Oh.
The Beastie Boys and stuff. And so all of a sudden he opens the door to our studio and says, "Shut the fuck up," at like this huge loud yell. And then he slams the door and I'm going, what the hell was that? And I guess they said that they must have heard us in there. And I said, well, so much for soundproof studios. And,
there you go.
Have you seen what Nickelodeon Studios? Dave, have you seen what Nickelodeon Studios looks like now?
Like versus what it was?
Like, it was all like back in the day, like in the 90s, it was all like, you know, orange and neon green and like all these wacky colors. Now I think it's like legit like turquoise and white or something like that.
Now it looks like a DMV. Now it looks like the side of a DMV.
They're trying to market themselves.
It depends what building you're in. Like in LA, they're based in Burbank now. I mean, they have a studio in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. And we're like, they shot ironic. iCarly. Yeah. We're like, they shot iCarly and the Thundermans now they do there and things like that. And I've worked with Jeanette McCurdy, who's so cool. I mean, do you know who she is from iCarly?
Yeah, I heard she's the one who she regrets now her whole career or something like that.
Yes.
The blonde?
She was also Sam, and then she did Sam and Cat with Ariana Grande.
Now she regrets everything.
Yeah, well, she doesn't regret working with me, thankfully, and stuff. So, but this was before iCarly, and but the Nickelodeon studios in Burbank now is where their main studios are, where their animation and their production studios. They do have all of the characters painted on the outside of the walls, so they do kind of have that. But well, the studios in New York City. I mean, you really couldn't tell they had Nickelodeon studios there because no one painted the outside of the buildings, as you know, being from New York. But, you know, except for now, they'll put Black Lives Matter on the street or something or on the side of the building and stuff. But back then, they didn't have that. But when you would walk into their studios, it was so cool because they'd have like statues of all their cartoon characters in there and all their shows.
That's so cool. Stuff. Did you ever get to meet Stickly?
Oh my God.
No, unfortunately I didn't.
I wonder how he's doing.
That was my favorite.
I don't know how Stickly is doing these days and stuff.
Simmer down.
I got
well, Keenan is on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. I'm friends with Kel Mitchell.
Yeah, Kel didn't get on because of Keenan. Because they didn't want to have
them
both
died,
of them.
Didn't they?
They had a falling out big time.
The career died.
Well, after Good Burger and stuff is, I think, when that fell apart. But
so were you around for Roundhouse?
That was a little bit after me too.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was very early '90s. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I in the '90s is when I started at Lampoon because I left New York to go to LA when I worked with Tim Allen and Robert Wool on their HBO specials. And I said, you know what, it's time for me to move to California and stuff. So I was like Harry and Tano. I took my cat and I bought my cousin's Trans Am. And what's the first thing I get on my way to California is a speeding ticket because my Trans Am looked like another one wanted for like a stolen car. So I got pulled over and got like $100 ticket. And I said, "Welcome to California."
Yeah.
Jeez.
But,
I'm sure that vehicle smog checked.
That was a disaster car. As soon as I got to LA, I sold it.
Yeah.
So you've been in, you had a lot of creativity. You're in a lot of, areas of creativity, National Lampoon, Nickelodeon. If you had to choose one area, what would it be? If you had to choose like one domain, I should say.
No, that's a good question. And people ask that a lot. And I can't put it into one category of which I like better. That'd be like, those polls people take on Facebook, like, if you had to choose who you would be like on an island with, or you could only choose one movie and things like that. I like doing all of it. And it's kind of also out of necessity. You have actors, and I have an actor. One of the guys in Professor Creepy is Erwin Keyes. And you might know, he was in House of a Thousand Corpses and the Flintstones. He was Joe Rockhead. And I mean, he's done a ton of movies. You reckon he was in the Jeffersons. And Sally passed away a few years ago. But when he was not an actor, because he was only an actor, and when he was not acting, he would go on unemployment. And a lot of, people always think everyone in the industry is a freaking millionaire. And it's so not true. Same with people who've had a lot of success, like Beverly Randolph from Return of the Living Dead is a really good friend. And she hasn't done a ton of stuff, so she has to get a regular job, and that's the misnomer about Hollywood. So for me, being a writer and a cartoonist and a musician and doing voiceovers and everything else was also kind of out of necessity, because when I wasn't working in one, what am I going to do to make money?
Right.
Writers very rarely get royalties.
Wow. Do you get writer's block?
Never. That's the one thing I can never, ever get. People are like, that's a surprise. But no, that's why my book is called Brain Explosion, because I never get writer's block. I mean, I'm always creating in the shower, even when I'm sleeping and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that sort of like a result of your process? Like, what is your process? So, you don't have to give us the secrets to here, but like, what would be your process to avoid something like that?
To avoid writer's block, or...
Yeah, I mean, I guess between,
don't stop
society
thinking
as a whole giving you this sort of boundary, then you have that corporate boundary. Like, you can't foster creativity everywhere. So, what your process would be.
Well, I think everyone's mind is different. It's also depending on what your background is, where you were raised. I mean, I had like an abusive father. And he told, what he told me, but I mean, I used it creatively. You could have turned one of three different ways. You could become a drug addict, a serial killer, or you could use it creatively and stuff. Or you could be a creative serial killer and stuff. But when he used to say, like, because we weren't going to go on vacation or something, he used to say, "Oh, I got a great vacation spot," and he put a poster up in my closet of like Florida or something. He said, "There's your vacation hotel." Yeah. And so I would go in there, and you know what? But I turned it around and used it as a place to create. And so my imagination developed really big then. But it also depends on who that person is. Everyone's matrix is different. And for me, I couldn't turn the off switch. And I think it's also disciplining yourself to want to do what you want to do and not let anyone say otherwise.
That's the biggest key right there.
That's the big one right there.
Yeah.
I've had people say, you're never going to get anywhere, or, you're one in a billion that's going to, be out there struggling and stuff like that. Yeah. And I go, good.
And in Dumb and Dumber, 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. Right. And you're getting this advice from people that haven't made it. So it's like, how do you have the best advice? Well, why do you get to?
Well, Jay-Z said it the best. Everyone can tell you how to do it, but they never did it. So
right. Okay. Exactly.
Perfect.
And it happens. That's the only way. Don't listen to shit. Because half of them are jealous. Like you said, they haven't made it. They don't know what they're doing. And they want to bring people down because they never made it. And that's why I encourage, like, I'll teach film and television writing and acting. And I just tell the students, I said, if they say, "Oh, I suck, I can't do this," I said, "Well, then that's on you. not on anyone else telling you can't do that.
Dave, you still talk to your father?
Only at the cemetery.
Okay.
But oh no, he died of karma. It's like, you know how some people are such assholes that they die of karma. Oh yeah, he was like that. I mean,
but I'm saying when you started going on your own and you started all of a sudden becoming this hit with the industry of animations, cartoon, and all that, were you keeping in touch with him in the time, or you were just out and about and you were going?
I was just out of it. I had left. I ran away so much. One of the biggest regrets I had was being in North Jersey, and I was 12 years old. No, I was 11-year-old in 1969. I wish I had known about Woodstock, because I would have run away to Woodstock in a second and joined up with like Jefferson Airplane or something. You know what would have been funny is I would have been this 11-year-old kid with a clarinet, and I'd be going backstage going, can I jam with you guys and stuff, and see if anyone took me seriously. But, you know, that's one of the big regrets musically that I did. But I would just go off on my own. Oh, and here's guys, you're all from different parts of the city. You said Queens and
we all grew up together, actually.
Long Island.
But
so I grew up all around. Yeah.
But what part?
I grew up out in Southampton.
Bang.
Okay, no, I have a lot of friends from there. I applied to Stony Brook to go to school there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny now is I have a joke that sometimes I'll use when I'm doing stand-up. I go like, if I say, where are you from? And they say, oh, Long Island. I go, so are you from exit M13?
Meadowbrook?
S13 and stuff.
I think New York has probably worse traffic than Los Angeles.
Horrible.
I think we beat Los Angeles. Yeah, absolutely.
Even now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went to Los Angeles 4 years ago, and I drove. It wasn't as bad as it is here. Like, it takes me. It's funny because I used to travel the country for work, and it would say 50 miles away, it's 60 minutes. In New York, it's 3 miles away, 120 minutes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
LA had gotten before I left. That was one of the reasons. My ex fiance, who I moved to New Jersey, she's an NP in psychiatrics, and she used to tell me that I needed to see a therapist because I got mad sitting in traffic. And I'm going like, you talk about me. Look at the guy that's shooting into the other window next door because he's pissed off at something.
Yeah.
Why did you go tell him he needs therapy and stuff? I'll wait because I'm not going anywhere anyway.
I love California for I'm a foodie, so I love the Venice Beach food sort of culture and the Los Angeles food culture. I used to live
down over there, so the food's great there. I mean, it's sad how pathetic California's gotten with Gruesome Newsom as governor and Garcetti is there.
He's done.
What's really happening? I'm kind of curious because I was listening to Joe Rogan and he was saying the same thing, and he said a lot of people actually migrating to Austin, Texas. That's a lot of them. The new place.
The sad thing, I have a friend that just moved from Huntington Beach to Pennsylvania, and I have another one that moved to Tennessee. Yeah, people are moving out, but like you were saying about not being in LA to be able to produce whatever you want, is a lot of people still feel they need to be there, but then they're living with crime around them. I was living in Sherman Oaks, and there's a BMW right there, and that's a pretty upscale area. Well, there was a gang shootout, like a car-to-car shootout right in front of the BMW near where my friend was.
Really?
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's looking out the window, go, "What's going on?" As bullets are flying all over the place.
I mean, it's like Brooklyn, though. I mean, you could buy a $2 million brownstone, and across the street there's going to be gang shootouts.
A drug dealer or something going on.
I went to I stayed in Laurel Hills, I think, when I went to California, to LA.
Oh,
I think it was Laurel Hills,
up in the Mulholland area.
Yeah, it was nice there. It was beautiful.
Oh, it is, but even that.
Yeah. I mean, coming from New York, when you get out of LAX, you smell palm trees. To me, it's pretty nice.
You smell palm trees.
I don't smell palm trees in LA, man.
Oh, now you just smell.
LA smells like shit.
I definitely want to get a couple of. I want to interview some Skid Row people. I'm trying to work Vic into that, but I'm really
like I said, you sending emails and we work.
I'm so interested in Skid Row. I'll send them a phone or something, but I'm just interested.
How are they going to get the email?
You know what? You don't have to send them phones. They're giving them phones. The city is giving them phones there and internet and everything. But you know what you do? If you have any friends in LA, call their number, and I'll bet their phone was stolen, and you'll get someone from Skid Row.
From Skid Row. Yeah. I just find it really interesting, man. They, like, it's, California's an interesting place.
Speaking of Skid Row, you got something, Victor? I don't want to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna say all the blue migrants are going to red states, so those red states are starting to come blue.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's I didn't want to get into this to maybe a little later, but I feel like
that's a sad truth.
Yeah, and then it's just history going back and forth, and now
Texas
the red
is
state
not going to be
Texas is going to be blue in like 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah, and the thing is, people do not learn from history, and that's why they're trying to cancel it because. People think that they're escaping what they voted in California by bringing it to Texas. Mm-hmm. And, they're bringing the same freaking attitudes they're due there and the stupidity. And they're thinking that, it's going to be safer here. And it's not. Look at the border. I mean, people are getting killed more in Texas now than they have. And the COVID cases, which I still think is like a total conspiracy because everything happened. I'm so into like reality conspiracies, and I think a lot of the bullshit that's happening with COVID, the timing was just too perfect for this, like during an election and stuff like that.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I mean, listen, I have asthma. I was scared of COVID, petrified of COVID. I also did go to a bar in New York City. Like, it wasn't New York City, but it was Long Island. That it was shoulder to shoulder in last June or July. No mask, no nothing. That was perfectly fine. I feel like it's extremely selective. I don't get flu shots ever. I never, knock on wood, got the flu. This I was scared of, but
people are thinking because you're like, I'm 62 and I don't mind saying that. And so people say, you don't look it. I do it so I could get proof at the liquor store or at the supermarket when they go, well, let me see your ID. And I say like, why are we voting? And they go, no, because there's liquor here and stuff. And I said, wow, you think I'm young enough to want to see my ID? Really? And then they kind of break my bubble by saying, we do that to everybody. And I say
yeah, like, so you're well-trained. Good for you. Good for you.
I mean, listen, COVID is very selective on who it selects.
Yeah. You know what? If you're not in good
smartest virus in the world.
Right. Yeah. It is. If you have asthma or if you have, you know who it's affecting the most are obese people who have diabetes and things like that. Yeah. I mean, that's a proven point.
That's half the show dead right there.
The audience are you guys.
No, just us.
Yeah. But that's who it's affecting the most. And then the people over 80 who also have that. There's a guy here where I live in my apartment building, and he's like 80. He's an ex-vet. I mean, what's so cool about this area too, there's so many ex-vets here who are true America. And they're the coolest guys. But he's like 80 years old. He still exercises. He was exposed to it, and supposedly got it, and it lasted a day, and he had like no symptoms.
Yeah.
So, I was a bitch.
That's because when you're in the military, they give you like 40 injections a month to keep you.
That sounds about right.
You got to go to medical 1 million times to get the new. So where our immune system's at 100. It burns fast.
It's good to know where my tax-paying dollars go.
Yeah,
in an injection in your ass.
Oh yeah, it's called the peanut butter shot.
Got that twice.
So real quick,
how tough they are.
I went back for seconds.
Yeah, when I was in the military, they tell you roll up your sleeves. So you roll up your sleeves. You got about 4 to 5 nurses on your left and right. And as soon as you walk in, they just start jabbing you with shit. You don't even know what the fuck's going on. And the last one puts something right in your ass cheek.
What part of the service were you in?
I was Army, and Jack was Navy.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you very much for meeting us.
I was just a taxpayer.
We do pay taxes, though.
Well, thanks for sending the fucking war. Okay. No, my father was Navy, and so he was the few. All he did was.
So is Jack gonna come abusive? Should we warn Jack?
No, it's not everybody in the military.
Right. It's just no, it's just the military thing.
Yeah.
He was from the Bronx, if that helps and stuff. He grew up off of, I believe it was Boston Road or something up near the Bronx Zoo. And I said, well, they need to bring you back. That's where you go where?
Isn't it by Arthur Avenue? They have the best raviolis in New York.
It is. I mean, you wouldn't catch me going in the Bronx now.
Yeah, so two of us are ex-military. Victor here is he speaks to computers. Taxpayer, but he speaks to computers. And we have Vinny, who's a Ghostbuster. And we're a lot of, I don't know if he's still here with us. Vinny.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, Vinny's
all right. I didn't see your face. I was like, oh, where did he go?
He's feeding his other head.
Yeah.
Would you guys definitely come to Fishersville and we'll do some ghost hunting?
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's literally what I do.
They're not ghosts, right? They're like paranormal.
Dave, you got to check out episode 18 from season 1.
Okay, is that a ghost hunt that you did?
That's Vinny, what he does.
I'm a paranormal investigator. Yeah.
Oh, then you totally have to come here. We've been featured. Then there's a place called in Moundsville. It's the penitentiary.
Yeah. Ghost Adventures did an episode there, I think.
Yeah, that's where Manson was supposed to go, and they had him in there for a little while until they transferred him to LA.
Mm-hmm.
But that's haunted. I mean, there's so much fucking haunted stuff here. It's amazing. I've encountered so much stuff, and I was in a documentary about it. I've actually gotten a lot of paranormal things happen to me over the years. I even got a phone call, Twilight Zone style, from a dead person.
Stop. Vinny's pants are tight right now. We're gonna need to.
And I wasn't even on drugs.
Dave, keep talking, babe.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Holy shit, Vinny, your mirror just moved in the background.
Oh shit, I think it did.
Well, here's something. Since you're a Ghostbuster, have you heard of David Oman?
David Oman.
Vinny. He's the guy that lives next to the Sharon Tate house in LA.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that house he's ripped down, and now he's having activity at his house.
Yes, he lived right next door, and he wrote a book about it called The House on Seattle Drive. I edited the book, and we were doing a podcast from his house. I mean, he talks to Sharon Tate like all the time.
Yeah. He gets a lot of EVPs from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and he had a shelf full of action figures, and Slender Man was one of them. Mm-hmm. While we're doing the podcast, and this was live, the screen, all the viewers were starting to say, your screen's pixelating. And then we couldn't see it from our end. And then all of a sudden, Slender Man flew off the shelf.
Oh,
it was
shit.
the only figure that flew off the shelf. And I thought that was so cool.
Dave, what's the story you have? What's that story you have with the dead body on a scene? We were doing some homework in. Jack's been dying to ask you the question, but I don't know. He's probably fucking shot right now in the head.
No, okay. So I saw the interview that you had at the Rob Zombie event. You were telling an audience about your experience with dead body. I would just love it if you could retell that story, because that was great.
That was so cool. Okay, there was an actor named Richard Long, and he was in the Big Valley, Twilight Zone, Nanny and the Professor, Love. But he did that movie House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. Do you remember that one?
Yes, the original.
Yeah, the black and white one.
Yeah.
Well, he was Lance Schroeder, the test pilot in that. Well, I was friends with his son, and we lived in the same building. So he hadn't been seen for about 2 weeks. So his sister and brother were worried about him. And he was a smoker and a drinker, and he wanted to be like his dad, an actor, but he just didn't have the same talent. So I said, you know what, I'm going to see if he's in his apartment or not, or what the deal is, because no one's seen him. So I got the keys from management, and I went in there, and the first thing I smelled, this was at night, and this death smell, that like dead body smell, was just permeating the apartment. And then he had the window open to his living room, and I heard crunching, and he had a cat. So my first thought is the cat's eating him.
Right.
And I go, but then I look and I see the cat is just eating old chicken bones from the garbage. And then I hear the fuzz from the TV set in the bedroom. And he had like one of those L-shaped hallways. And at the end of the hallway was the bedroom. So I turn and I see the TV there, and it's got the static poltergeist style going because he didn't have cable. And then I see feet at the edge of the bed, like from down the hall, because his bed extended from the edge of the wall. So the first thing I do is say the stupidest thing you can do when you're by yourself. And that's, hey, are you okay?
Well, you didn't know.
I didn't answer. Well, there's a death spell. I knew somebody died in there. But then I was hoping to get an answer like, I'm okay.
Yeah, at least that.
Can you turn the TV
Benny's
off?
in the closet.
So then I get to the edge of the room, and there he is lying on his back. Do you want me to describe how I found him?
Do whatever you want. See the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he had been there 2 weeks. He had died in bed. He was already melted. The fluids from his body, you couldn't tell his face anymore. The fluids from his body were dripping down the edge of the bed, and there were flies all over him and maggots and everything.
Oh,
so the first thing I do is,
Was he okay?
Yeah. Did he give you the thumbs up?
Did he make it?
Mouth to mouth.
Put a tourniquet on him.
The first thing I do is go get my cell phone and take a photo. And I get my camera. I had a digital camera.
That's usually the first thing you don't do.
Right. But no, I wasn't scared. I know. I need to document this. And because, once it's gone. Then I called the police, and because I helped out the manager and stuff. So then, the fire department came, the police, the hazmat crew.
Oh yeah.
And the coroner. So once everybody left, the only ones left were the coroner and his assistant, and the meat wagon was downstairs. He was so heavy. They couldn't carry him, the two of them. So I had to help him carry the body bag, and there was no elevator. So it was a walk up, 2 flights. Well, the assistant dropped the bag, and he almost started, kind of sliding down the stairs. And we had to grab it. And the first thing I'm thinking of, it's going to rip open, and he's going to be lying in the lobby, and everyone's going to see him as he walks in. Thankfully, they didn't. And so we got him in the meat wagon, and then they took him away. But then 2 days later, his spirit flew into my apartment, just floated in looking lost. And I know this sounds like something out of the Discovery Channel, but he just looked. So I said, what are you doing here? And he just looked. I said, you can go to heaven now. There's nothing for you left here. And he disappeared. So he took off. And then I get a call from the lady, this old lady who lived underneath. She's from New York. She was from the city. And in fact, I knew her also because her son was the director of Friday the 13th, the TV show. Remember that?
Yeah.
About the guy and this investigative team. It wasn't anything like Friday the 13th with Jason and stuff.
No, yeah.
She was the mom of the director, and I got to be friends with her. She was 80 years old on oxygen, and she would come to the door. Get another cigarette. She sounded just like that. And there was an Italian restaurant down the street, and she would always buy rolls for me. She'd be like, David, would you like some rolls? Stuff, I can't eat all of them. Just please come. I've got a cannoli. Come and get one. It's too much for me. So, and then I would talk to her. I mean, she was a sweet old lady. Well, she called me one day and sing just like this. She goes, David, can you come down? There's flies in my apartment, and I can't handle it anymore. They're getting into my food. And so I go down there. It seemed that the hazmat team missed going down there, and all the liquid that got into the floor from upstairs bred into the ceiling, and all these horseflies were flying around her apartment. So we had to call the exterminator and the hazmat team to come take her out and to just rid the apartment. It was the most disgusting thing.
Yeah.
But that was
Oh, you're breaking up. Your mic's on mute, Dave. You back?
oh, that was my phone coming in.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah,
So,
no, 'cause we were gonna get into Jack's final questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. You guys make
Oh,
it
no.
easy.
Trust me, everything
it was
we
a
got
great
is
story. It was definitely a great story. I think I'm going to animate that. So we actually try to, we do animate part of some of these episode clips. So that story
That's
I'm definitely
so
going to
cool.
animate. Yeah, if you just check them out,
check them out on YouTube. It's in the playlist section of UnFollowVic. It's cartoons.
Oh, cool. I would love to see that dead body thing animated. That would be so awesome.
Absolutely. I'll definitely animate that.
I'm sure his family would too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put your EMF readers as part of that story in there.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into Jack's final questions. Dave, you ready for a little bit of a hot seat?
I'm so ready.
All right, hold on. We're gonna get into it. Jack, put him on the hot seat.
All right, Mr. Shelton, if you could live in a movie for 1 week, what movie would it be?
That's easy. Escape from New York.
All right. Next one. What is your worst habit?
My worst habit is probably going out with the wrong women.
Oh, you got to meet our one guest then, April, because she has a habit of going out with the wrong males.
With the wrong guy. Yeah, with the wrong guys. Yeah.
Oh, good. You know what they always say? 2 wrongs make a right.
There you go. 3 rights make a left.
All right, on to the next one. What is your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay. That's actually mine as well. If you could have dinner with one person, living or dead, who would it be?
Well, that's easy. Like we talked about before, Edgar Allan Poe.
No. What fast food restaurant and what are you getting?
Well, since I don't eat at fast food restaurants, it would probably be it would probably be Subway, and it would be one of those 3-foot long deli sandwiches.
All right. Biggest regret you can change?
That I can change? Well, there's a few of them. And one of them is probably trusting someone in a project that I worked on that I probably in foresight or in hindsight should have changed. I won't go into what it was, but it's probably that.
Okay. Follow up to that, biggest regret you can't change?
Being born into the family you're born in.
Okay. And finally, good sir, your biggest pet peeve?
Well, there's a few, but let's see. Democrats, leftists. To me, the biggest pet peeve, there's 2 of them. People that are bullies, people that are judgmental when they have no idea what they're talking about, and hate over things that they don't research and things like that. And then just people who don't keep their word.
All
gotcha.
right.
Yeah, no, I
Thank
don't
you very
like
much
people
for
that
that.
can't keep their words either.
Big time.
You're gonna say something. I mean, do it. If not, just tell me you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm a big supporter.
Right. Don't bullshit. And the thing is, I love about, they always say there's a big Jersey, New York rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
I love New York and, or at least the way New York used to be and stuff and what's been happening. But I love that New Yorkers in New Jersey, we speak our minds and we keep our word.
Yeah.
We say what we're going to do.
We definitely still have that rawness to us.
Well, that's good. I can tell you guys still do that also.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword sometimes.
Nice to see the younger generation isn't awful as shit.
Yeah.
What are we? We're
for
the
your
Z
labor.
generation. What are we?
No, we're
We're Gen Z, aren't we?
Millennials.
We're millennials?
I think we're millennials.
We're the very beginning.
We're the rare
guys who don't wear
millennials, all right?
Yeah, we're the guys who don't wear socks with suits.
Exactly.
And we all have beards.
Well, it's funny.
Whoa!
Hey.
It's funny you say it about not wearing socks. The guy that I found in his bed, he was still wearing his socks.
Yeah, he wasn't a millennial.
Did you take them?
It didn't keep the stench away, that's for sure.
Yeah. My biggest pet peeve. We never talked about our biggest pet peeves. You know what I hate? I hate when you ask someone for salt and they use it first.
Oh yeah,
I hate that.
That's a big pet
I don't know what grinds my gears.
Yeah. That really bothers me. I don't know why. Well, nowadays there's no one really passing salt anymore.
Oh, I hate when women talk about like you're on a date or you're at dinner, and I hate when women talk about manners and then they take a napkin and use it in their teeth and stuff.
Yeah.
That scares me. It's
Well, they
Those are
blow you
keepers.
twice on the same night.
You bring those home to mom and dad.
uh-huh.
So actually, I have a question. Are you really a descendant of Vlad the Impaler? I came across this little tidbit of knowledge and I was blown away.
Oh, you guys did so much great research on me and stuff. But yeah, my great aunt told me this, and when I was little, and you know, it's kind of like a bane to some of the people in my family, but I embraced it. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, we are direct descendants of Vlad the Impaler.
That is really cool.
Most people would know was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Great.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I thought that's so cool. And then, of course, there's the jokes that come with it. And go, no wonder we can't go out in daytime. You know, when we travel in coffins. We have to travel in buses made of wood. You know, things like that. And so, yeah, I thought it was one of the coolest things about my family history and stuff.
That is really cool. Not something a lot of people could say.
I think maybe some people don't know. Vlad slept around a lot.
Oh,
There might be people
okay.
At least
So-
you have the family tree.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have another interview with you in the future because we still got a lot of stuff unsaid.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be wrapping up.
That's
Absolutely.
pretty much it. So, Vinny, any last words for Dave before we go?
Dave, great talking to you. I'm glad you appreciate the paranormal. And yeah, I'd love to get down there and check out who might be still hanging around.
Well, you
Your,
have
cemetery.
my information. Let's make it soon because I've been going out and doing all this stuff on my own, and we have a haunted library, and I've seen stuff there, and everybody would be really.
If
cool
anyone's
to have
gonna
you
find
guys
it, it's
out
gonna
here.
be Vinny. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
The EMFs are
I
real.
make them talk.
Yeah.
Dance, puppets, dance.
You can't refuse, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Victor, what do you got?
Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate your presence. It's been great. It really has been.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks again.
Thank you guys for having me. This was one of the coolest podcasts I've done in a long time.
Thank
You're
I
the
really
third
thank you very
person to
much.
say that, and we only interviewed 3 people so far.
Yeah, we're at 100%.
Well, thanks for putting me as third on that one.
Yeah.
Here's something. I
Scheduling.
want to invite you guys. My film festival is April 9th,
April. Let me write this down. There you go. April 9th.
and it's going to be in Payton City, which is the next town over. And it's going to be all day. And you guys are welcome to come down to be part of the festival. We're going to have like a step and repeat, carpet, media out here. I would love for you guys to come out, and then we can go do some haunting while we're down here.
Let's see. Let's see if it gets on. Is it a weekend?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. All right. I got to check the schedule.
I work remote, so I'm good.
It's not that far. What is it? A 7-hour trip from here. It's not that far. Or we could take a
Yeah.
flight. I'd rather
Are
fucking fly.
you guys still living in Queens?
Yeah, I'm still in the
Cali.
New York area.
Oh wait,
Yeah, I'm in
Vinny,
Queens.
you're where?
I live in Harlem.
Jack is
Oh,
actually
okay.
in fucking California.
Yeah, I'm in California.
What part?
I'm currently north of South. Where
You don't
is
even
that?
know where the
See
fuck
what
you're
you-
from, this kid?
Bro.
Hey, he wants to
I'm
audition
not
a
for
fucking
the
millennial,
cast
bro, I'll tell you.
member on the other side.
No, I mean because it's not San Diego, and I don't
He's
really
a
want to
witness
give more.
protection.
Yeah,
Than that.
Jack's on witness
Are you-
protection,
are
and he's
you
also
off
on the
the-
spectrum.
Yeah, there's that.
Are you off the 5?
I believe so.
Well, that's the only freeway that goes between LA and San Diego.
He lived across the street from the couple that had all those 12 kids locked up in their basement.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
That story was creepy. No, I have to make that trip actually a couple of times a month. We go through LA at least twice a month, I'd say. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, fly out. The nearest airport's Pittsburgh.
I don't know if you could see me, but I don't do too well in airports.
I hate flying.
Dude.
I'm not
my
asking
skin
you
complexion.
I'm not asking you to carry an assault rifle. You don't have to wear a burqa or anything.
No, I know.
Jack, last words.
Yeah, I want to thank you for what you've done, for your art, for your contribution, for your help in shaping what I think is the last greatest generation. And
I appreciate that.
And it's all thanks in part to you. So you deserve that.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, it is you guys. It's so nice to see guys who are just real like Americans. To me, I love this country. I love the flag. I just recorded the national anthem on a YouTube video because I was so sick of people kneeling and not appreciating what the fuck they have in this country. And you guys are a great part of the generation that it gives me hope that it's not all fucking cancel culture. That
there's hope here. There's hope here.
There is hope.
Yeah, and so I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for having me on it.
Yeah. So, Dave, thanks for having us on. And for all our fans and listeners that are listening, if they wanted to reach out for you for any way or these podcasts that you're doing, please plug them in right now as we have the time.
Cool. And if they want to reach me, they can go to my website, snuggybear.com. This is the obligatory promo, snuggybear.com, SNUGGYBEAR.com. They can see all about my new projects. I've got 2 shows on Amazon Prime TV. One's Against Type, which I did with Stephen First from Animal House and Jeanette McCurdy. And the other one's called Professor Creepy Scream Party. And I'm hoping to get that turned into a series. That's my kind of horror variety show. And then they could also find me on Facebook, except when I get blocked, which is usually once a week.
Usually what happens, yeah.
Or on IMDb. They can see some credits on imdb.com.
Yes. All right. Well, that's great. Thanks, Dave, for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your story with me. Definitely inspiring. Sorry. I didn't go to college.
Inspirating. I'm going to use that in something now.
Yeah, there you go.
Brain Explosion Volume 2.
Yeah. Book number 2.
I have enough to go in the brain.
I'm probably going to edit
2.
that out because I always fuck up at the end anyway. But thanks for having us. And before you go, we're going to walk you out. So don't log off real quick. And we'll be right back on the UnFollowVic show.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to the UnFollowVic podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at UnFollowVic.
And we're back on UnFollowVic. Wow, guys, that was a pretty great interview. I like it. It was going left and right. Like none of that was scripted. This was all active listening.
He brought the fire, and we held it up for him with him.
The only thing that sucks is this fucking. We gotta somehow figure out how we're gonna get guests to get microphones and stuff. I mean, I understand no one has a podcast or no one really does active speaking like that, but we got to figure out a way to.
I think Dave was great. I mean, listen, he really contributed to a lot of our childhood, man. Yeah. It was people like him that really created Nickelodeon and the content and that we consume.
And we didn't even get to half the shit. I mean, he was on Tweety Bird, Sylvester Stallone, the cat.
Yeah, National Lampoon.
We're gonna have him back on. I know we're gonna have him back on.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, this is UnFollowVic. This has been a great episode. And Jack, any last words?
Love you guys. Just remember, stay tuned. Follow us, love us, share us.
Yeah, Victor, what do you got?
Nothing as usual. Just nothing quiet.
That's good.
Nothing.
Hey, you're fucking consistent.
Thanks for listening.
I love it.
UnFollowVic podcast.
I love you consistent.
And we'll see you next episode.
All right. Well, yeah, this is UnFollowVic. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys are loving season 2. We're working hard on putting this season 2 out, but yeah, I mean that's all we got. So until next time, peace.
The UnFollowVic podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and wherever podcasts are heard. Don't forget to press like and subscribe for more of your favorite UnFollowVic episodes.